前言
Forward. What was the past for human being? What will be the limit point for mankind in the future? Will the intelligence of human be able to stop the asteroid's impact on Earth? If these questions cannot be answered, then we should turn ourselves to the greatest creator. Chapter 25 of Tao Te Ching begins with, "There was something formless yet complete. It existed before heaven and earth." The Bible makes its purpose clear from the very beginning. In the beginning, the God created the heaven and the earth. Here, God means the greatest creator. The Diamond Sutra says, "If one desires to see me via colors and seek me through sound, he is pursuing an evil course and cannot acquire enlightenment from Buddha, the greatest creator." Book of Odes Decade of One Wang. Great Brightness says, "This King One, watchfully and reverently, with entire intelligence served the greatest creator, and so secured the great blessing." In Chapter 8, The Origin and Fate of the Universe, of his book A Brief History of Time, the great scientist Stephen Hawking says, "The general theory of relativity on its own cannot explain these features or answer these questions because of its prediction that the universe started off with infinite density at the Big Bang singularity. At the singularity, general relativity and all other physical laws would break down. Science seems to have uncovered a set of laws that, within the limits set by the uncertainty principle, tell us how the universe will develop with time, if we know its state at any one time." Sound. No, we cannot. For one is unable to perceive sound without hearing. If a person is ignorant and has no telegnosis, then how can we convince him that the greatest creator is in the universe? How can we prove the existence of the greatest creator? We still cannot do that. For one is unable to perceive the greatest creator without telegnosis. Telegnosis is an innate instinct. With telegnosis, we can perceive the existence of the greatest creator. Everyone has telegnosis, but why we are unable to perceive the existence of the greatest creator? This is because the telegnosis is blocked and blunted in the same way as one suffering from falling of eyesight cannot discern the view in front of his eyes. If one's eyesight has dropped, one pair of glasses will enable him or her to see clearly. If one's telegnosis is blunted, he will be able to perceive the existence of the greatest creator by improving his wisdom. Someone wants to deny the existence of the greatest creator with a case of antinomy. Can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift? This question puts us in a dilemma. If we say no, we have completely denied the greatest creator. If we say yes, it proves that the greatest creator cannot lift the rock he has created. The existence of the greatest creator is also negated by the statement that he cannot lift a rock. Whatever the answer is, the result is the negation of the greatest creator, or at least the negation of the omnipotence of the greatest creator. The man who creates this antinomy is very smart in that his minor question has perplexed the spiritual nature of many people, making them stay far away from the greatest creator and wisdom. This person is either Satan or someone disfavored by the greatest creator. He cannot taste the grapes, so he would try his best to prove that the grapes are sour and prevent others from eating the grapes. Can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift? This question is a trap. The similar question may be, are you a thing? How would you answer this question? No matter the answer is yes or no, you will fall into the trap of the designer. It does not make any difference whether to say, "I am not a thing," or "I am a thing." Thus, we cannot present positive or negative answers directly to any antinomies. Instead, we should consider from the question itself, or lodge a rhetorical question. For example, the rhetorical question for "Are you a thing?" is to aim the question "Are you a thing?" directly at the person who asks this question. Let's see how he will answer this question himself. The rhetorical question for "Can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift?" is "Can the greatest creator not lift a rock that he has created?" The question "Can the greatest creator create a rock that he cannot lift?" is not tenable to the greatest creator himself. In the same way, the question "Are you a thing?" is not tenable to the man himself. In addition, this question itself is a double negation. Namely, whatever the answer is, the question itself has secured the negation. Many philosophers and logicians have been puzzled by such questions. Here are some more paradoxes. Let's see how you should answer. Are you not an animal born by your parents? Can eyes not see eyes? Is a man not a non-animal? Such questions cannot be answered directly, but with the changes of some conditions. The greatest creator-related question can be answered. The greatest creator can create rocks under any condition. The greatest creator can lift rocks under any condition. Any more questions? The questions can be done in this way if we keep on. I will begin by asking, what is lifting? Does lifting mean holding the rock in both hands and raising it over the head? If the answer is no, what is lifting? If the answer is yes, suppose this rock is the earth and I stand upside down with both hands touching the earth. Isn't the earth over my head? You may reject the interpretation. For the earth is not over my head, but under my head. Okay, what if I repeat the same action and move along the longitudes in 360 degrees? Then should there be a point on the earth over my head? If not, which point of the universe is over us? And which point is under us? At this point, you may argue although I am holding the earth with both hands, and although the earth is over my head, I am not holding the earth, rather it is the gravity from the earth that draws me. If this is the case, we should negate the meaning of lifting as we have first proposed. That is, holding the rock in both hands and raising it over the head cannot be regarded as lifting. Then what is lifting? No matter how you define the meaning of cultural propaganda team of People's Commune, bench worker, electrician, automobile mechanic, middle school teacher, office clerk, office manager, interpreter, driver, salesman, grocery store manager, restaurant buyer, bartender, nightclub manager, manager of fast food department, property developer, and so on. The duration of my jobs all lasted for more than half a year with the exception of office manager and restaurant buyer, on which I stayed only for 2 months. What have I gained from working on so many jobs? What I have learned is, without a belief and an aim, life is just like the floating clouds drifting in the sky with wind. An inexplicit traffic accident I personally experienced several years ago has prompted me to explore the meaning of life. What on earth do I live for? For the sake of my country? Nonsense. I have problems even making a living for myself. How am I supposed to do anything for my country? Do I live for my parents? Absolutely not. Otherwise, why should I survive after their death? For my wife? Unlikely. She may enjoy a better life without me being around. Do I live for my children? Not necessarily. How can those childless parents carry on life then? After the children grow up and have families of their own, what do I live for? I can no longer provide them with any help. On the contrary, I may prove troubles and burdens for them. Do I live for myself? How absurd it is. I can neither decide my birth nor my death. If there is an option, I would rather choose not to be born and not to be a being at all. Then who brought me to this world? Is it because of the accidental union of my parents that I came into being? Definitely not. The universe is governed by laws. Everything has its causes and effects. Nothing exists purposelessly and accidentally. Everything exists for a particular purpose. Then what is the purpose of my existence? This obscure and confused way of living is beyond my endurance. I would rather die than to live without a clear understanding of myself and the world around. If I have no idea where I came from, then I should at least know where I am heading. Otherwise, it would be a great pity if someday I suddenly get killed in a traffic accident. Can I live a life with understanding if I am wealthy? It seems that there is no single millionaire in the world who has solved the problem of the purpose of living. By the time you have a lot of money, perhaps you don't have much energy and time left. You may have died before you know why you have lived. Besides, money does not come the way as you wish. Otherwise, anyone can be a billionaire. Having power will make one understand the meanings of life? I doubt. There have been many emperors and kings appeared on the stage of human history. Did they really understand the purpose of life? Was there any one of them left us with book on life? How about being a scientist? Great as Newton, Einstein, and Stephen Hawking are, they still wondered the origin of the universe, the origin of human being, and the origin of life. Would I be any better than them if I become a scientist? Moreover, just as I cannot become a singer because I am not born with the gift of a singer, I cannot be a scientist either. To be a scientist for me is something beyond my wildest dream. Will it be possible for me to understand the meaning of life if I seek to become some kind of expert? I am afraid not. Let's take archaeologists and anthropologists, for example. One day they would say that mankind originated from Europe, another day that mankind originated from Asia, still another day they would claim that mankind's ancestor lived in Africa. To affirm the place of origin of mankind simply by a few pieces of fossils is far from reliable. It is likely to say that we would be originated from the Antarctica if some more human fossils are excavated from somewhere someday. How about reading the Bible? Can it be a way to understand the meanings of life? Maybe I was born foolish. I have read the Bible for years, yet I have not been enlightened so far. Where is the kingdom of the greatest creator? It has been there already, or it will emerge in the future. Where would it be if it will emerge in the future? By future, do we mean a millennium, 10 millennia, or 100 million years? My life only spans scores of years. Is there such a thing as the resurrection of flesh and body? How can resurrection be realized? There is no doubt that Jesus is a God. The problem is whether there are any other gods that above Jesus? Why would Jesus undergo suffering if he is free from the control of other gods? Why almost all his disciples died an unnatural death? Is it possible for a God to lose control of his own fate? As a God, why couldn't he protect even his own disciples? Why should they suffer for the blessing of other worldly life? So I rely on Buddhism to guide me. Buddhism preaches the previous life and the eternity, lifetime after lifetime, retributive justice and karma. This makes sense. But how on earth does karma transform? How should a person behave to acquire eternity? Where is the Pure Land? And what does it look like? I have only read a few of the great many Buddhist sutras, so it is not for me to jump to a hasty conclusion. Since Buddhism has existed for more than 2,000 years, it should be able to interpret the meaning of life, but it failed as well. If life is but a process of suffering, why does the greatest creator create so many wonderful things for people to enjoy? If the purpose of life is to attain Buddhahood, then what is Buddhahood? How can we attain Buddhahood? What is the probability of attaining Buddhahood? If only 2 to 3 out of the 1,000 people who practice Buddhism succeed, then the rest would feel quite unwillingly to sacrifice the worldly pleasure. Money, power and status, and scientists and other experts, Christianity and Buddhism. Each may have its own arguments, but none of them can explain clearly the meaning of life. And for us mortals, we even have a hard time scraping up for daily existence. How can we have time to pore over the learning of sociology, natural science, and religion? Is there a shortcut? Is it possible for us to seek the greatest creator directly, bypassing gods, Buddha, and the knowledge accumulated by mankind? Because only the greatest creator knows all, and only the greatest creator has the ultimate power of decision. Where can we find the greatest creator? Read Wordless book, Read Heaven, Read World, Read People, Read Things. Luckily, I have undertaken more than 20 different jobs and have experienced many hardships of life. In addition, after graduation from senior middle school, I went further study for another 3 times. And I have stayed in the countryside, in small towns, and big cities. As a result, I can string up different phenomena and events for chain reflection. Nevertheless, I am still confused. So what could be the obstacle? I was greatly enlightened when I incidentally browsed the Quran, which says, "The masses of deities and mankind, don't hesitate to escape from domain of heaven and earth if you can. But it would not be possible for you to escape without the help of authority." Yes, how can I escape from the domain of heaven and earth without the power and help of authority, the greatest creator? How can I get the support of the greatest creator? By telegnosis, man is a part of the universe. Man can correspond with universe. The brain can immediately sense the sting on the toe. So if I send a fax of thought to the greatest creator, he will surely know my appeal. Indeed, the picture of the birth of the universe, the origin of life, the origin of mankind, and the 36-dimension space began to appear in my mind. The subject of fate is thus revealed naturally. Only at this time did I learn the greatest creator, Jesus, Sakyamuni, Lao Tzu, as well as mankind, universe, time, space, energy and matter, body and soul, the nature of life, and the meaning of life. I came to know God by telegnosis, which could only be sensed nor told. In order to facilitate the understanding and induce even greater enlightenment, I have cited 40 natural phenomena and 8 logical reasoning to prove the existence of the greatest creator and to illustrate the 8 characteristics of the greatest creator and the 8 major relations between the greatest creator and human being. Whether you can sense the existence of the greatest creator completely relies on your telegnosis and wisdom.
证明上帝存在的40个例证。
40 evidences proving the existence of the greatest creator. By Xiefeng. Take a broad view, and you will see faraway mountains are fresh and green. Stay and study in life genuine will a new life begin. You will see clear paradise scenes. Once we fall into deep meditation, we can feel that there is a supernatural power in control of the movement of the universe and the birth and death of all things and the track of human life. No one can deny the fate, yet no one can grasp his own fate. Everything about us seems to be prearranged by certain powers, and we are only moving according to the life courses assigned to us. Then, whether such a supernatural power exists or not, whether there is a super wisdom in control of the entire universe or not, if there is not, then how did the universe come into being? Where did the variety of life forms come from? If there is, where could the supernatural power be? What is his form? Does it look like a man? What characteristics does he have? Why we cannot see it? Does it care for humankind? How does it manage this astronomical universe? How shall we get to know it?
1. 有序运行的太阳系需要有人设计安排。
There should be someone behind the orderly operation of the solar system. By Xiefeng. With the Sun as its center, the solar system consists of the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, comets, the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, meteoroid, interstellar matter, the Earth's satellite moon, and other asteroids. Attracted by the gravitation of the Sun, other celestial bodies revolve around the Sun. Among them, the 9 planets revolve in the same direction around the Sun along the nearly round orbits in approximately the same plane. 4 billions of years, the solar system has been running in the Milky Way galaxy in an orderly manner and with no single mistake. The 9 planets, the Earth's satellite moon, and other asteroids have unfailingly and willingly maintained the order of the solar system. They cooperate tacitly with each other, conforming and obedient. There has never been any bullying. There is a high degree of organization, discipline, and unity. If any one of the planets does not obey command and acts on itself, the whole solar system will immediately be knocked over by other stellar systems in the galaxy. Then the main task of the whole solar system, sustaining the life on Earth, will not be possible and man will also perish. To live harmoniously, a big family of about a dozen people will need some domestic disciplines to keep it in line. A company, small it may be, must have rules and regulations if it hopes to survive and develop. A house should have a design before builders can begin work. How the doors, the windows, the kitchen, the living room, the bedrooms, and the bathroom should be arranged. To survive, even a pack of wolves, a swarm of bees, a cohort of ants, or a flock of sheep must have a leader in charge. Otherwise, the result will be a state of disunity and chaos. Let's take a look at the general manager's office. The desk, the chairs, the bookshelf, the sofas, the tea table, the telephone, and the like are all arranged in an orderly manner. The tea table will not be placed on the desk. The chairs will not be put on the sofas. Why? Because these have already been designed and arranged. Let's have a look at the workshops of a factory. The lathes, the milling machines, the planers, the drill presses, the machining tables, the grinding wheels, and the tool cabinets are arranged in an orderly manner. They will not be piled up and thrown here and there. Why? For someone is doing the arrangement. Let's take a look at the streamline of the assembly workshop of TV sets. There is a strict order for the assembly of different components. Is this order formed naturally? Of course not. There must be someone doing the design and arrangement. Let's take a look at everything in nature and every activity in human society. It is not difficult to discover that all have been organized and arranged by someone or a certain brain. Then how about the orderly functioning of the solar system? Is it not designed by someone? By logical reasoning, we can infer that there must be someone in charge of the creation and arrangement of the solar system. But who is this someone? He must be the planner and designer of the universe and the wise omniscience, the greatest creator.
二、地球至太阳的距离是刻意安排的。
The distance from the Earth to the Sun is a result of deliberate arrangement. By Xiefeng. The distance from the Earth to the Sun is 147 million kilometers, which is the ideal distance for the Earth to absorb the solar energy. If it is too far, the Earth will be cold and bleak place. If it is too close, the Earth will be a flaming globe. You must have had the experience of warming yourself by fire in the cold winter days. Your distance from the fire will be decided by the state of the fire. If you are too close to the fire, the heat will be beyond your endurance. If you are too far from it, you cannot absorb the heat. You will automatically adjust yourself to an appropriate distance which is not too warm to be put up with. Now you can do a calculation. Imagine yourself as the Earth and the fire seat as the Sun. What will be the proportion? Let's suppose the proportion is x, then the proportion from the Sun to the Earth is also x. That is to say, the distance between the Sun and the Earth is not a matter of coincidence but a deliberate arrangement. Except the greatest creator. Who else can do that?
三、地球的自转是有意安排的，自转的速度是经过精确的计算确定的。
The rotation of the Earth is a planned arrangement and the velocity of the rotation has been accurately calculated. By Xiefeng. If we keep facing the fire, then our body's front part will be very comfortable, but back part will be still very cold. At this time, we will unconsciously turn around and make our back face the fire. After some time, we will turn around again. In such a case, wouldn't it be ideal for us to sit in an automatically rotating chair so that all our body can evenly receive the warmth? However, the rotation should not be too fast. Otherwise, we will feel dizzy and cannot see the objects around us clearly. More dangerously, we might be thrown off the chair. Too slow a rotation won't do either. One side of the body is warm enough, but the other side is in urgent need of heat, and yet the chair has not turned around. Then certainly we can find an optimum rotation speed that can make us feel comfortable and warmed evenly. The Earth is rotating at an ideal speed. It rotates at nearly 28 kilometers a minute and revolves around in 24 hours. This speed ensures that both the East and the West hemispheres can get the heat evenly and that animals, plants, and men can have the time for labor and rest respectively. Suppose the Earth does not rotate, the East hemisphere will be facing the Sun all the time. Everyone would feel the unbearable heat, while the West hemisphere will be in a constant darkness and the cold, which will be too extreme for men to bear. Vice versa. If the rotation is too fast, for example 12 hours for the Earth to turn around itself, then there will be only 3 hours respectively for morning, noon, dusk, and night. The Sun will be high up in the sky before we have enough sleep. If we wait till we have enough sleep, then we will wake up only to find the darkness nigh is out there again. Shall we get up or continue sleeping? If the Earth rotates too slowly, for example 36 hours for it to complete a circle, then we will have 18 hours of day and 18 hours of night respectively. Plants will either have too much or too little photosynthesis, climate will suffer abnormality, we shall find it hard to arrange the time of work and rest. The rotation of Earth and the speed of rotation are well planned and accurately arranged by the greatest creator. If you are not convinced, just try it yourself and see whether you can come out with better arrangement.
四、地球环绕太阳运行及运行的速度是严格按照物质运动规律设置的。
The Earth orbits the Sun, and its running speed is in strict accordance with the laws of physical movement. By Xiefeng. The Earth orbits the Sun at the speed of 298 kilometers per second, which does not allow for the slightest error. If the speed exceeds 298 kilometers per second, the Earth will fly off its orbit along the tangent and enter the vast universe. The life on Earth will all go extinct for lack of appropriate light and heat from the Sun. If the speed is slower than 298 kilometers per second, the Earth, failing to reach the escape velocity, will be drawn to the Sun. That is, the Earth will fall to the Sun, just like an apple falling down to the ground. Isn't this terrible? It is well known that the satellites of Earth should orbit the Earth at the speed of 79 kilometers per second. If the speed is faster, they will not be able to fly around the Earth along a certain orbit. If the speed is slower, the satellites will fall down to the Earth. The speed must reach 111.8 kilometers per second to escape the constraint force of the Earth. The speed must reach 166.7 kilometers a second to escape from the solar system. These are absolute numerical values, allowing for no exception or negotiation. So, now think it over. Why the Earth should revolve around the Sun at exactly 298 kilometers per second? Why it is not any other numerical values? Without the calculation and arrangement of a superwise being, is it possible for the Earth to run for 4.6 billion years, obediently, meticulously, and voluntarily?
五、地球的倾斜是特意的设置。
The tilting of the Earth is deliberately set up. By Xiefeng. As far as the orbit of the Earth is concerned, the Earth is tilted at a gradient of 23.5 degrees. You can use a globe as a sample. Without the tilting, there will be no alternating seasons on the Earth. The equator will be unbearably hot. The temperate zone will be turned into the frigid zone, and Siberia of Russia will be part of the Antarctica. If the tilting is at 90 degrees, the ice and snow in Antarctica will all be melted and the Earth will be a complete ocean, with no single stretch of lands. Then can the Earth tilt at 24 degrees or 23 degrees? Absolutely not. If the Earth tilts at 24 degrees, all the coastal cities will be submerged by water. If the Earth tilts at 23 degrees, the Earth will suffer from severe water shortage and many rivers will disappear. Just imagine, will it work without the computation and design of a superwise being? Then who is this superwise being? Neither you nor me, but the greatest creator.
六、月球是地球上生命的保证。
The moon is the guarantee of life on Earth. By Xiefeng. First, let's look at some moon-related figures. The moon is 380,000 kilometers away from the Earth. The mass of the moon is approximately 1/81st of the Earth's mass. The moon completes a circle around the Earth every 25 hours. It takes 27.3 days for the moon to go along its orbit as well as auto-rotation for one circle. The time interval between the first full moon and the next is 29.5 days. It tilts at 5 degrees in relation to the ecliptic. The orbit of the moon is oval. The moon moves westward. The above data are the warranty for life on Earth, and even the slightest changes will pose catastrophe to life on Earth. Some people have whimsically thought of blasting the moon. Others objected to the idea, arguing, the moon should not be blasted, because without moon man will lose some sentiment. Actually, the matter is not so simple. Without the gravitation of the moon, there would be no ebb and flow in the ocean and no wind, cloud, rain and snow, and thunder and lightning on the Earth. And accordingly, no life would exist. Do we need to bother with such a simple reasoning? Someone may argue, there may be no life on land, yet there would still be life in the oceans. The answer is negative. Is it possible for an absolutely still sea to breed life? Moreover, without moon, it is impossible for us to have inspirations like so bright a gleam on the foot of my bed. Could there have been a frost already? Lifting my head to look, I found that it was moonlight. Sinking back again, I thought suddenly of home. Without the moon, no life could survive on Earth. Therefore, the moon is specially set up there, for the life on the Earth, or we might say especially for man. Then who has set up the moon? Our ancestors? Dinosaurs? Who but the greatest creator can have such power and capacity to hang the moon in the sky?
七，地球至月球的距离是丝毫都不能有偏差的。
The distance between the moon and the Earth allows for no deviation. By Xiefeng. The distance between the Earth and the moon is 384,400 kilometers. If the distance is shorter than this, the Earth will be ravished by raging gusts and torrential rains. If the distance is farther than this, there would be only gentle breezes, occasional drizzles on Earth, and there would no longer be great storms, typhoons, and thunder and lightning. In another word, the life on Earth will suffer bad weathers and harsh environments. Just imagine what may happen if a jet plane skims 1 meter above our heads. Not to mention the impact of the infrasonic waves and shock waves generated by the fast-flying plane. Even the whirls of air current brought about by the flight will carry us off our feet. The tiles on the roofs will certainly be blown away, and a course of water gully and water wall will be formed when the plane skims over the water. Suppose the volume of the plane is as 3 football pitches. What will happen when it flies past the surface of the Earth? The consequence will be catastrophic. In the area it passes by, there will be scenes of general turmoil and mess, with animals scampering for dear life, men and horses thrown off their feet, walls tumbling, wind roaring and waves billowing. The ships on the sea will be wrecked, and the coastal areas will be frequently pestered by sudden pours of storms. If this situation continues every 25 hours, the survival of life on Earth will be unimaginable. What would happen if this plane were the moon? Not to mention the effect of other harsh elements on life, one flight of such a plane would bring 1/3 of the ocean's water to the land. If it flew around the globe for one time, the resultant hurricane would cause downpours to descend from sky, and all the continents would be transformed into an ocean. Then will life survive? Therefore, the distance between the Earth and the moon cannot allow the slightest deviation. Then who has designed so appropriate a distance? Undoubtedly, the design has been made with accurate calculation by superior life more intelligent than human being.
八，大风大浪、台风和雷鸣闪电是有意编排的。
Great storms, typhoon, and thunder and lightning are deliberately choreographed. By Xiefeng. The occurrence of the great storms, typhoon, and thunder and lightning is due to the existence of the moon. Without gales, the convection of hot and cold airs on Earth will be impossible. The chilly and sweltering weathers will continue for longer spells. The clouds over the ocean will not drift toward the land, and there will be no rain or snow. Without billows, there would be no gales. Without typhoon, the vapors over the ocean cannot be carried to the plains and the plateaus. Without thunder and lightning, the missing ozonosphere will not be replenished in a timely manner. As a result, ultraviolet radiation and other cosmic rays will shine directly on man. Everyone will suffer skin cancer. Without thunder and lightning, the air cannot be cleaned, and countless viral bacteria will multiply uncontrolled. Man will no longer multiply, and the Earth today will see no footprints of man.
9. 整个太阳系是专为地球人类而设置的。
The whole solar system has been set up especially for man. By Xiefeng. We can see, as mentioned above, the distances between the celestial bodies, the sizes of different celestial bodies, and their speeds of movement have all been accurately and meticulously designed and arranged in strict accordance with the scientific laws of the survival and development of matter, with not an iota of coincidence. Some people may argue, the Sun and the Earth are extremely important to mankind, but the other celestial bodies in the solar system are just dispensable. Actually, this is not the case. Mercury, Venus, Mars, asteroid clusters, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all set up to protect the Earth. They are the additional bodies of the Earth, and obviously have been set up and arranged for man. A riddance of any heavenly bodies or a change to any factor will alter the orbit of the Earth and man will not survive on Earth. Life only exists on Earth in the entire solar system, and there is absolutely no life on other planets, because they are appurtenances of the Earth. To discover the secrets of the universe, astronomers have created countless space telescopes to observe the space all days and nights. This is too tiring a task. Actually, if only we are capable of calculating and thinking, we can calculate, starting from man's basic necessities for survival, the masses of the Earth, the Moon, and other celestial bodies, the distances between them, their orbits and speed. Without looking up into the sky, we can know what is there beyond Pluto and whether Uranus has satellites. When we come to know that there are superior life spaces apart from human society, we can infer the size and structure of the entire universe. When we are aware of this, we will discover that there are no superfluous galaxies and celestial bodies in the universe, and that each has its function and position. Suppose we are in a highly democratic and developed country. We can infer from the clean and tidy streets that the country has a highly efficient urban sanitation management. From the size of the city and its population, and the living standard and other factors, we can work out the number of dustmen in this city without counting them one by one from each street to lane. If the actual figure is one more than our calculation, it is for temporary replacement in case of the absence of one of the dustmen.
10. 地球的皮肤大气层
The Earth's skin, aerosphere. By Xiefeng. The aerosphere occupies the space from the sea level to 1,000 kilometers above. 99% of the atmosphere is concentrated within a space of 40 kilometers from the surface of the Earth and above. The aerosphere is divided into troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere according to the different chemical components within various altitude ranges. The range about 18 kilometers above sea level belongs to the troposphere. 99% of the troposphere consists of vapor. The climatic changes and natural phenomena of thunder and lightning, wind and rain, drifting clouds, evening or morning glow, and rainbows all occur in the troposphere. The atmosphere consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% of other gases, such as carbon dioxide, argon, and ozone. The aerosphere is the skin of Earth without which the Earth would be as bleak and desolate as the Moon, the Mars, and other celestial bodies. There would be no life on Earth. Then how did the Earth's skin come into being? Some may say the aerosphere only occurs naturally. Then why is there no aerosphere on the Moon and Mars? The proportions of different gases in the atmosphere are just right. The increase or decrease of the proportions of any gases would be catastrophic to life on Earth. For example, oxygen accounts for only 21% of the atmosphere. The absence of oxygen will mean the instant death of man and animals, and the reduced amount of oxygen will hinder the normal activities of man and animals. It is impossible to carry out normal activities on the summit of the Everest and Himalayas because of the scarcity of oxygen. The spacecraft must be equipped with adequate oxygen for astronauts to carry out normal explorative activities. If oxygen in the atmosphere accounts for more than 21%, the people and animals in the low-latitude regions may suffer poisoning, and the inflammables in the nature will be liable to spontaneous combustion. An iota of spark may trigger many things ablaze. Apart from moisture, sunlight, and carbon dioxide, plants also need a large amount of nitrogen oxide for their growth. If the content of nitrogen is less than 78%, no matter how often or on what scales thunder and lightning may occur, there won't be enough nitrogen oxide created for the absorption of plants on the surface of the Earth. The amount of carbon dioxide accounts for less than 1% of the atmosphere. The small amount of carbon dioxide is the core factor of greenhouse effect, which maintains the global temperature between -21 degrees and 14 degrees Celsius. Without carbon dioxide, the ocean will be frozen up and the plants will die out. However, with too much carbon dioxide, man and animals may die of poisoning and the temperature of the Earth may rise dramatically. We may ask, how did atmosphere and the accurate proportions within the atmosphere come about? We cannot always attribute the inexplicable phenomena to naturally formed as a matter of course, can we? Without the careful attention of the parents, can a person grow up naturally after he was born? Is the lighting electricity we use generated naturally? Does the plane, weighing dozens of tons, fly naturally in the sky? Can we naturally reap a bumper harvest by simply throwing some seeds on the ground without hoeing the weeds, fertilization, and watering? There is absolutely nothing involuntary in the universe, and everything is managed and manipulated by someone, or some kind of wisdom.